Welcome everyone on the 145th episode of The Leaders Who Care. As you know, we're on a mission to bring to you some of the most successful leaders from every corner of the world that's really making a difference. And the success is not just the end result, but also how they achieve it is equally important. And today we have the privilege to welcome an expert, a leader in growth marketing, an expert in building communities, and someone who's been making an impact for many years in this space. And I would love to really welcome Alina Kovalchuk. Well, Alina, thank you for joining us. You're leading an organization which I love, the marketing and growth strategy organization called New Nami, which is the new wave, I understand. And you are a powerhouse with more than 10 years of experience under your belt with the passion for empowering women in leadership. That has been highly inspirational. But also, you've been very well connected with a number of communities. In fact, that's your strength, and this in areas we would like to talk to you and really been pleased to see how you do all of this, how you really take care of those communities has been incredibly valuable. And since we live in a world where that really matters for employers, for corporates, for everyone really, would love to hear more about this. But first of all, welcome on The Leaders Who Can. Thank you for joining us, Alina.
Thank you so much, Marian, for having me. I'm very happy to be here.
Alina, you have a very interesting upbringing. I know you were born in a very interesting place. I understand you were born in Moldova, which we see very often now. It's unfortunately with the current situation in the world that Moldova has been, pulled from both angles, from Europe and Russia. So it's uh, it's interesting, but also tell us more about your upbringing and yourself first of all before we get into your expertise.
Happy to do so. Usually, every single speech that I do or an intro that I make, I love to talk about Moldova. I am very thankful for the country, for the way I have been raised, and for the ability to appreciate things that I have achieved now in life, coming from the background that I have. Probably the most important thing about my childhood and my upbringing was the ability to live and think in two simultaneous languages, which are completely from two different worlds, Russian and Romanian, completely different family of languages. But nevertheless, my father would always talk to us in Romanian, my mom would talk to us in Russian. They would both influence me and my brother within their own way and within their own language. So, going back home years ago, when I could see my father and mother in the kitchen, my father would speak Romanian, my mom would reply in Russian. I would look at them and I would remember with such a warm feeling that this is how I grew up and this is so special to me. Just the way jungling these two languages. And this is something very special to me, which I hold dear, and also probably the ability to be born and raised bilingual also helps a lot in learning other languages. For example, it was quite easy for me to learn French. I couldn't say it was easy for me to learn German. German is a very difficult language, but nevertheless, I still understand Italian and Spanish because of the Romanian language, and English, of course. I guess everyone learns it. And it's just what the country does for all of us as children. There's a lot of emphasis on the languages, on foreign languages. As children in school, we had the ability to learn a lot in terms of foreign languages.
Wonderful. Well, I can see that you have really a lot of cultures that influenced you from, that's very interesting. But as you were growing up, how did you get to develop that love for marketing? How do you really came across what you do today?
I guess there is a very straight line when my life was divided into the small Alina, who has been born and raised in Moldova, and then the new me, who at the age of 16 won a scholarship for a private school in the United Kingdom. So I went to do my studies there, and my life just changed forever. I understood that there's more to the world. There is so many more opportunities. I had the privilege to be classmates with girls of very wealthy families from the United Kingdom. And of course, that opened a lot of doors for me to understand and to learn firsthand a different world, a world of a different television, a different world of fashion, a different world of eating culture, travel, and so on. So all these opportunities and niches, they showed me that, hey, I could see an ad which is actually interesting, and it doesn't have to be boring like I used to see back home. And so I started, picking up and because I'm quite curious and attentive to many details. This is how I started to understand that some things are really interesting for me, others not as much. And this is how I came to the next logical step, to go to university and study general economics with some, let's say, stress on marketing and management. And this is how it actually started.
Okay. Well, it's really great to hear that what you've done and how this impacted your life. And maybe just a quick advice to the young audience or the Gen Z that are probably making those choices. I think there's a lot more access to information than ever before, but also we see that a lot of young people are struggling as well with choices. There's a decision fatigue, and really would love to help and guide them to as much as possible. I guess sharing the best practices of some of the leaders who care. And what would be your advice to maybe a 16 years old, or let's say that kind of generation, that is the Gen Z generation, that is looking to be successful, find the area that they really love to do, but they don't know exactly what to do. Just looking at your 16 years old, because that's the relevant moment of what were the steps that helped you to discover that.
I would say listen to yourself as much as you can, because being 16 years old, I would say, is a very young age to come to a conclusion and make a decision about your future life. But try to have a very sincere conversation with your parents, if you have the luxury of having loving and supporting parents who will listen to you and who will guide you towards the right path. I cannot say that I was the best child growing up. I was a very difficult teenager, but nevertheless, I appreciated all the guidance and the support that my parents provided me then. Of course, I wanted to do different things in life, and I wanted to go and study in university in the United States. And, to me, the world was such an easy place and an easy playground, but my parents were always doing this reality check. So my advice would be aspire, be open to new things, but also have your parents as your guardians and as your angels who will keep you within this reality of what you can afford to do for yourself. It doesn't necessarily mean only the financial part, but also if you're parents and you understand that you're very creative, don't go into doing something that you find boring even when you are 16 years old. So just listen to yourself, but have your parents guide you.
Wonderful. And when you talk about really, we are very passionate about how people can thrive at work, not survive. Um, Looking at what you were able to do and you know, building those communities, what makes a community thrive? What is the ingredients? Because you are very passionate about building those communities, and obviously would like to talk more about how you do that. But just starting with the different communities out there, I guess community could be just a WhatsApp group, but it could be much more to it that makes a really profound impact in the world with projects, with foundations, and so forth. So maybe take us through the different types of communities and what is your really expertise in that field.
So my experience with communities came naturally from the point when I was between jobs and I was thinking to myself that I have so much information inside my brain that if I don't share it further with people around me, I will hate myself, because I need people. I love people. I love being surrounded by people all the time. And to me, the most important thing about communities and the secret sauce to these communities is for people to have a common pain or common goal. And second, the ability to grow and work and learn together. So when I founded my first community of marketing women, I started just with this idea that who can I be supported? Who can I support? And the first thing that came to my mind was women, probably immigrants, who are either already in marketing or who are in Germany and only consider to start working in marketing. So I put all this information together. I made a post on Instagram saying like, hey, I'm starting a community. Please spread the word. Please just share some love. And within the first hour, I had 54 beautiful women who joined this community and who said, this is exactly what I needed. And the second part of creating something to me was about finding a place or creating a space which was lacking for me during those times when I needed them the most. So now when I see my marketing community grow, I understand and I read every day mostly the beautiful words that these ladies are writing to me for the safe space, for the like-minded people, but also for the ability to create really beautiful friendships within this group, because the group already exists for 4 years, and yeah, people have become really, really good friends. Now it's a place where everyone is very open to share their experience, to give an advice, to offer a mentoring session, to be a growth advisor, to be just anyone who can support you, all things marketing, but also some questions about immigration, some things about just finding a job, finding an apartment in Berlin, and so on. So again, if saying what's the secret sauce of having a great community, is to have a common goal and a great area where people can learn together. And this is something that I wanted to share about the marketing community. And recently, I realized that there is this potential for people to grow more through LinkedIn.
Yep.
But for some reason, people are very scared of this platform. For me as a marketer, it's very strange because, in my opinion, LinkedIn is one of the most easy platform, as well as one of the most welcoming and one of the most rewarding one. And so I started creating these little groups, which I call LinkedIn Club. And again, it started as a pure, let's say, pure out of heart community on Telegram group, and I said, hey, everyone who wants to learn, just come by, let's do this. And people were very thankful to me that there is a place where they can learn, B, a place where they can actually benefit for their work, or for their employment, for their business, for their network, anything of that regard. And people just started offering me money for being their mentor or their coach or their guide within the LinkedIn world. And this is how this initiative already works for 4 months now. And every single month I have new people within LinkedIn group who just come, network, and learn along the way. And I think this is beautiful.
Well, you share something very interesting, a principle that it's actually from scripture, which is giving opens the door of receiving. So the one of the advices, I guess, here is that anyone who wants to receive anything, start giving. So the moment you start helping, the moment you start sincerely giving someone something that you love, without necessarily expecting anything in return, the return comes whether you like it or not. It's just natural, and this is so nice to see, and that resonates so well. So really, probably that's another advice, whether it's for executives or younger generation, Gen Z. Follow obviously the intuition of what, or that kind of drive that you want to do something. Just do it, but always focus on what you give, not what you want, and try to really do it with do it with a sincere heart. And I think this is really the great lesson here. We're obviously talking, and some of the audience is with C-suite leaders for large corporates or private equity-backed portfolio companies or family companies. And we know that a lot of them are obviously not mastered, if you like, that community management, especially. I mean, they have marketing, etc., but really, how do you effectively communicate with your clients in like a real time? How do you create communities that are helping your clients, or helping them, and having that two-way conversation? It's very interesting to see what will be the future, really, for the coming years, in those community, in the marketing, the way you handle business. Obviously, taking into account the AI, take into account access to information, take into account that rapid speed of development of technology. Based on what you've seen so far, and the rapid rate of change, what's your view on this? What do you think? If you put yourself into such like a company-based leader, or owner of a company, how do you create better communities? How do you create this engagement with your clients, or create such spaces like you just shared?
To me, the most important values are always trust and transparency.
Yeah.
So I stand for sharing openly everything that you can share with a client, timelines, problems, blockers, successes. So I believe in over communicating is much more better than under communicating. So I would rather bombard the client with a bigger amount of information so that the client is aware of every single step of the journey and the progress, rather than the client running and chasing after the team and asking, hey, what's the status? How are we doing? Can I support in any way? So I believe in always over delivering, and over communicating is better. And second, trust. So everything that you say, you have to deliver. If you cannot deliver in a certain time, just don't mention it. Don't promise something that you cannot achieve in a certain amount of time. So this trust and transparency, they're very much linked one to another. But I believe these are the pillars of good communication, long, trustful relationships, and just real human-to-human relationship when it comes to making business, be it B2B, B2C. I just love to call it human-to-human, because at the end of the day, there's always a human being at the end of the screen or the line, or
It's
just
B2C, B2B, it's H2S.
it's H to H, exactly.
Yeah.
So my advice to anyone would be transparent, be trustworthy, but also be human. And I think being human these days is unfortunately not that often, to be honest.
Why? Why do you think is the case?
I think a lot of people and a lot of companies, they understand that their time is only limited, and they can only deliver and they can only learn within or earn within a certain amount of time. So they go full on speed on everything that they do, because they understand, because of the market situation, or again, the AI coming around the corner or already standing there and helping many companies. They might not have that much time to function on the market. So they just go all in, do whatever job they do, not the best quality, not the best customer success, not the best customer communication, not the best product at the end of the day. And they just disappear because they don't care if tomorrow they will be there. On the other hand, there are companies who care a lot to be here tomorrow and in 5 years and in 20 years. They would care a lot about their reputation, about the quality of their communication, about the customer success team being the upfront image of the company. And these companies, they usually, I wouldn't say that there is a big difference if the company is small, large, or extra large. I would say that when companies behave in a human way, they have more success. Some freelancers, photographer freelancers, have shared with me their success stories. For example, that they get more clients just because they answer straight away to the messages, the incoming messages. And in our world, when people make you wait for 1 week, for 2 weeks, and you get a reply straight away, this is one of the ways to get your clients. And I also think this is a good strategy. And there's always, people develop these really small habits or traits that they take with them, and this is their, let's say, their special thing. How they're being seen, how they're being portrayed, and why people are coming for them again and again. So this is what I wanted to share.
Wonderful. So rapid response, and I love what you just said. Customer success team, that's such a nice thing to have. You have a dedicated team that thinks of the success of your clients. If you think of that, if you had basically unlimited resources and design an organization that really want to make their clients successful, what would that team look like? How would you design? Just imagine a situation where you have a lot of resources and you really want to help your clients be successful. What would be kind of the wonderful things you can create or wanted to create, but you haven't done yet because of constraints and other things?
So I can actually share the story of Nunami and how we do it. Our team is very small. We are a little bit over 10 people in the whole company. So our customer success team is just one person. And she is amazing. I don't know how she handles over 100 clients, but she does it, and she does it very well. And her secret sauce to managing all the clients, keeping them happy, keeping them informed, is again exceeding these expectations and over communicating. So every single time when everything is running well, she would write a message, hey, everything is okay. Or she would find a way of letting the customer know that everything is fine. If there is a blocker or a challenge or a problem, again, she also informs the customer, but in a way that, hey, we found a problem, we are already working on it. And I also think this is a very clever way of handling bad situations, is to already come with a solution or come with a progress which you are making for the client. So again, it comes down to transparency and clear communication, that if something is going wrong, make the client aware, but also make the client aware that something is already being taken care of. And if there was a way to do something different, I don't know if really small companies with just 1 or 2 person team within the customer success can do much more than they already do. But another secret ingredient within Nunami is working together with other departments. So customer success, of course, would always work hand in hand with the tech team. Again, finding those problems and providing those solutions. So this is the key element to a great work, even if you are very small, and sometimes just 1 person team, is communicating and stating exactly what you need from other people or from other teams in order to anticipate any problems.
Thank you, Alina. That's really helpful. And since you established this business, how do you find that journey of an entrepreneur? And how do you take care of yourself?
Nunami is not my business. I am being employed there, but it feels really, really like a family company, I would say. There's only 10 of us, not that many people, but everyone has their part to take care of and to work on. And there's a lot of trust and an element of a lot of, trust, I'll say again, from every single team leader and from our founders. I did go on a, let's say, entrepreneurial path 1 year ago when I started my own marketing agency. To be honest, I loved it, but it was one of the most difficult times in my life. I don't think I have ever worked more than I have worked during that year. And probably I quit a little bit too early. And I could have probably gained more results and more beautiful things. But what I really learned, and I learned it the hard way, is that you really have to differentiate from Monday to Friday and the weekend. Because the very first months, it was not the case. I was loving so much what I was doing that, to me, I didn't have a work day or a weekend day. To me, every single day was an amazing experience, type of, let's say, living my life situation day. But again, as I said, I learned it the hard way when all of a sudden I start feeling very tired and almost burned out from the amount of work, but not so much in terms of reward, monetary reward, I would say, that I realized that I have to take better care of myself and really divide between work and time off.
Well, that's interesting because you've been on the entrepreneurial part. Now you're obviously part of Dynami, and so yeah. Huh. What do you what do you feel like? It's like if somebody wants to start a company on their own, that's fine. But as they, I guess they need to know that there's a big price to pay, especially at the beginning of that journey. Um, and it doesn't mean you have to be on your own. In fact, you could be entrepreneur. You could be still entrepreneur within an organization, right? And it seems like you're enjoying that really a lot right now. So, you, you know, what's do you have any regrets, or do you feel like this was a great choice and great experience?
No, I have absolutely no regrets. I feel very welcomed and I feel very in my own place in Nunami, and I think all of us are within the team. What was very important for me in any place of work is to be listened to be heard, because during my life I had all types of companies, from 10,000 people companies to 10 people companies. And of course, the smaller the team, the more work, the more responsibility, the harder the process of achieving the goals. But also, it makes your life so much more rewarding at the end of the day, because you can actually measure your success sometimes by hour, sometimes by days, and you don't have to wait for months in order to see something coming from out there. And yeah, there's absolutely no regrets. But if I could give a chance to people who want to start their own business, I would say that it will be hard no matter when you started. If you started today or you started in 10 years, it's still going to be hard. But if you started today, most probably, if you decide to quit next year or next week, you will have this feeling that I've tried it and I learned something from it, rather than starting something in 10 years and having regrets that you did not do it 10 years ago. And most probably you could have been successful 10 years ago and have a completely different life than of what you could have had or what you're having right now.
Yeah, the message is if it's on your mind, try it sooner rather than later, and then give
Exactly.
your best. And if it
Exactly.
doesn't, at least you won't have any regrets. That's a great, really message. Finally, we always ask this question, Alina, which is related to if you're in a position where you have unlimited resources, um, literally in the world, what would be one thing that you'd change in this world to make it more caring and more future with a world with better future?
My mission and my desires, regardless of the amount of money I have or I could have, hypothetically, still remains the same, is to provide people with spaces where they can feel heard, trusted, and where they can learn. And to me, it's also very important to give back to the community where I came from, and that community being my country, Moldova. So every single chance that I get to pay the country back, I do. I would want to be able to do more, of course. I believe there's a lot of potential and a lot of beautiful things that we could be doing together for Moldova. And I have a lot of projects in my mind and on pieces of papers and in my laptop written of how I would want to change the world. But basically, if I could give an opportunity for every single person in this world to try something new, even for a short amount of time, be it 1 month, 6 months, to go and get an experience from abroad, from another world, let's put it this way, I would do that, because I believe learning from outside of your oyster, where you feel very comfortable and where you feel at home, but comfort doesn't mean growth. So I would provide this growth to the people who are interested in it.
Wonderful, Alina. Really, thank you for the work you do, for giving back, for helping women to get better, to thrive, for helping communities and giving back to them. And a blessing goes to you, your team, your family, and thank you for being a Leaders Who Care.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm very happy that we got a chance to talk today, and your mission is absolutely wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.